Hi everyone, welcome to Moonshot Monday's brand new series on my channel. Going to be a new weekly series I'm doing here, so make sure you subscribe, click the notification bell and check out everything in the description. As always, anything you see in this video is non-financial advice. Please use your own initiative to take trades and act upon any comments that are made within this video. All views are my own and of nobody else's. So Moonshot Mondays is going to be a brand new series I'm bringing to the channel. I'm going to be picking my flavor of the week and going over that coin. So this week we're going to be taking a look at Solana. Based on the news that we had this morning, I thought Solana would be a good coin to keep an eye on this week and at least keep an eye on for trades and for future investments going into the end of Q3 and into Q4 as we look at moving into a really bullish period of trading for the crypto market, especially altcoins. And the news we had on Sol, which I'm going to put up on the screen now. So a Nasdaq listed company, Forward Industries, they raised 1.65 billion. They're building the largest Solana digital asset treasury so far. They partnered with people like Multicoin, Galaxy Digital and Jump Crypto. So all well known in the crypto space already, funded by them and building the largest Solana digital asset treasury so far. You know, this can be massive for Sol and it fits into the treasury narrative we have floating around at the moment, especially with Sol having potential ETFs being accepted this year and into Q4. It's definitely going to be a coin with lots of narrative coming up for it and a potential move into these narratives this year. So not only does the chart look somewhat good at the moment, which we'll get into shortly, we also have some really positive news coming for Sol. And I think in the market at the moment, coins with lots of positive news and heavy narratives leading in their favor, they are going to perform the best, right? The market's been pretty weak in terms of altcoin moves and the things that are moving only tend to move based on narratives. So as we see, Sol is pushing up into this 215 to 220 region. If we look at my chart, I've got this 210 region as quite a difficult place for Sol to overcome. On the daily, we're sort of fluctuating around this resistance, this 210 or 207 region if you want to be more specific. You know, this dates back all the way to 2021 in November. You know, topping us in March and then again being a difficult area back in sort of like November, December. If we look at the monthly, it was sort of, despite closing above it, we struggled here. So a monthly close for Solana in September above 207 can be really positive. And if it's not already trading towards 250, I definitely think we can look at be trading towards 250 and also all-time high going into Q4. Depending how this month closes well, it could be the best close for Solana in history. A close above 207 on the month and also the end of the quarter, that would put Solana in the best position possible, closing the best it has done in complete historical data for Solana, and we could expect a move towards all-time high in Q4. Like I said, if the narrative continues to pick up for Solana and the treasury narrative continues to stick around, which has been one of the main plays for coins right now, then we could definitely see that all-time high push going into Q4. And, you know, if we're looking at a really positive outlook for Sol and we want to be manifesting the ETFs, you know, things can look really positive for it and could be a really good asset to hold into Q4 this year. So overall, yeah, big level for Sol into this 210. Taking a look at the daily and the 4 hour, like I said, just sort of fluctuating around here, potentially looking at this meme line breakout on the 4 hour down here over Sunday into Monday. Best to see how Bitcoin starts trading today. As always, it's a Monday. We had a weekend scam pump on altcoins, you know, low lick weekend and Sunday scam pump on alts with Bitcoin trading around resistance. Doesn't necessarily end well, but of course, if buyers have other plans for Bitcoin this week, then happy days. We can be looking at making a move towards 250 by the end of this month. If we look at the volume profile, we can see it's quite low volume on Sol all the way from here to like 250 compared to the range we were just in, like 207 to 135. You know, that dates back quite far, all the way back to, you know, 2021 almost. But whether that volume is still relevant, I'm not so sure so much, just based on the longevity and the time it's been since we traded back then. But we can see if we're looking at near term in Q4 last year into Q1 this year, quite low volumes up here. So acceptance above 207 and 210, we can really see a sharp move towards 250 very fast. And a sharp move towards 250, we could be looking at that monthly close and quarterly close that I discussed, in a really positive close for Sol. We can see all-time high in Q4. We're going to take a look at the VWAP values. I think this gives a really good outlook for Solana, or at least any altcoin that you might be looking at. Currently trading towards this developing yearly value area high. Not a massive place I'm interested in taking fresh long positions into, unless sort of like market shows really positive signs and Sol like can get a good breakout above here. But a difficult region for Sol, this developing yearly value area high. We're trading well above the prior weekly value area high at this point. We got a good break from that weekly open to push up, probably based on the news. You know, the news definitely helped today. We could see that Sol coins, Sol ecosystem was performing really well and responding well from the news, especially some Sol meme coins. They were responding well, and you can expect this, right? If you remember, if we date back to when the market has been running previously, Solana has usually been a leader in the market. It's sort of paved the way for everything else to follow it. And from what I can remember in the past, when Solana has trended really well, for example, back in sort of like October 23 all the way through to February, March 24, I remember Solana leading the market. And even back into September, October 24, I remember Solana leading the market here as well. Along with the Solana leading the market, it led the Solana meme coin basket. And then from that, we came a rotation into like normal meme coins, ETH meme coins. So as always, money will trickle down from, you know, from Sol into Sol ecosystem, heavily into Sol meme coins, and then from there eventually it goes into like other things like meme coins, standard meme coins on other chains, and eventually into other things, right? So, you know, the more Sol goes up and more the narrative sticks around for Solana, we could see money trickle into other things later down the line, as long as the Solana trend keeps up. So even if you don't own Solana, just look at it as a good thing. A lot of the time it has triggered an early rotation and a trend shift for the market. This is something new I'm using at the moment. So I'm looking at, again, the VWAP bands, but with the 2.5 to 3 standard deviations marked out, an area of exhaustion. Right now, the Sol trend is really strong, but yeah, not a place I would necessarily like to be longing into. A little bit overextended here. I think from here all the way to sort of 230 is a bit of a risky place to be taking a long position. Based on the VWAP values, based on the standard deviations, I do think that right now it's a little bit of a difficult place to take a position into. We're trading into that, we have traded into that developing weekly 2.5 to 3. Again, the developing monthly 2.5 to 3. I think, you know, this is definitely a rejection place for Sol. If not, I could see it rejecting towards that 230 to sort of like 250 area, which I did discuss was the next sort of level for Solana. But it's a bit of a gap to there. If anything, I would like a little bit of a drop. If anything, I wouldn't mind a little bit of a drop on Sol to get into a position. Maybe a breakdown back down towards like 202 to 207. Or over time today, let's see how Monday range plays out, create the Monday range, and we look to play a trade around the Monday range further down the week. Monday is a good day just to observe, let things settle, let the trend settle. Tuesday is usually when the trend sets in. Finally, wrapping up, let's take a look at the Sol BTC chart. Into some resistance here, Sol BTC into resistance. If Bitcoin does turn out to be strong this week, we could definitely see a rejection from Sol BTC here and a bit of underperformance from Sol BTC. Big level for it, and especially for Bitcoin, if it does flip this 112k region this week, then we could see Sol BTC reject. Sol ETH also bouncing. Main area to reclaim would be around that 0.055 region. Above there, then we could see some really nice outperformance from Sol against ETH. And it would probably trade back to like 7.7. That's pretty much it for this week's Moonshot Monday. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like. This is going to be a weekly series for me. I'm sure over time I will develop and improve on these episodes. I want to talk about some fresh things other than just charts. I want to talk about news and not necessarily fundamentals, but I want to talk about narratives that are floating around and sort of point everyone in the right direction for a coin to keep an eye on for the week ahead. I think this week Sol is a good one. There was a few coins I also like the look of, like Pump and Hype, but Sol had the news this morning, so I thought it was a good coin to point people in the right direction of. Make sure you check out the links in the description, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for my market review. Catch you then. Bye bye.